you go into something with a lot of hope and maybe some ignorance where you're like, this is a great movie. How could they not take it? And quickly you have to come to terms with, not everything is appropriate for film festivals, not everything's a good fit, and there's things behind the scenes. There's just so many factors. And so you just have to take the rejection in stride, hopefully learn from it and not be crushed by it all the time. But
Right.
then when you do get into film festivals, it's so exciting because as like a creative, the best thing is like getting someone to watch your stuff. And sometimes that's the hardest thing as well.
Yeah. So you had the premiere last night, right?
We did. It was the virtual premiere at Panic Fest. Correct.
So what's kind of been the reaction online to your film so far?
We've been getting great feedback. We have had Hyped on Horror, Brian Fears Ghosts, and then from their reviews, a number of other horror review social media personalities reached out to us as well, looking looking for a private screener so that they could review it. Um, the reception's been great. We've been uh, it's just been an awesome ride. Like Chris said, Dockside Media, we've released all like seven so far paranormal documentaries. Uh, and then actually Chris just finished editing our eighth Stolen by the Stars, which is about alien abductions. And that one is super fascinating. The people that we interviewed, yeah, just super genuine, down to earth people with these super fantastical stories. But so to do something like Creature of the Pines, this found footage horror movie, and set it up as a mockumentary, we already had all this experience filming these documentaries. And so as we were posting ourselves on social media about, hey, we're going to interview Professor Harlan, or hey, we just got footage released from a FOIA request for Olivia Marsh's incident out in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. So we've been, I guess, marketing this as if it was just another one of our real documentaries as well.
I love
And
paranormal stuff, so I'm gonna have to definitely check out your other work. Yeah.
I think you would
Yeah.
really like it. Yeah, it's all about aliens, UFOs, Sasquatch, and ghost hunting. And Chris, if you want to speak a little bit, I know it wasn't asked, but that's kind of actually how we formulated Creature of the Pines, is that our one documentary, Secrets of the Sasquatch, which we released a few years ago, still is getting tons of plays on Tubi, Amazon, um, eh, all over the world. And we're like, man, people are really into, these Sasquatch. What if we made something like a found footage along those lines? And then through, Chris's writing and back and forth, kind of evolved into the creature that we have in the movie. But that was the actual initial genesis or push for making this film. Is that, man, this other one's doing really well.
Yeah. So what is your experience with found footage? Like, what is your gateways into the genre?
So yeah, I'm the big horror guy. I've always loved horror. I love found footage movies. I mean, Blair Witch and seeing some of the reviews, obviously we get some comparisons to Blair Witch because how can you have a found footage movie in the woods and not be compared to Blair Witch? But I would love the comparison anyways because it's such a formulative movie for the genre. Um, but when I was writing this, House LLC was a big influence as well because that movie being exposed, and you're probably the same, B, I'm guessing, because you get to see so many horror movies. It takes a lot to actually creep me out and scare me at this point. I'm so desensitized.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw Hell House LLC, I actually got kind of creepy and scared at a few moments. That is a very clever movie, and it's actually they shot it near me because I'm near Philadelphia, so it's not too far from me. Um, and that movie much like Blair Witch, very small budget, I'm sure, one location basically, and they were able to craft something that was, captured my attention, but also creeped me out and scared me. So it was a big influence for this movie. And we've gotten a few reviews that specifically was like, it's kind of like Blair Witch and Hell House LLC. And like, I love it because both of those movies have kind of a deep lore that they've built or hint at. And that's kind of what we were hoping to do with our movie, but not explain everything. Um, but outside of those movies, Wreck obviously is a huge one for me. Um, I wanted to see. I saw you posted a review. I guess it's not found footage, but I saw Exit 8. I saw you recently posted. I wanted to check that out because, um, the back rooms and stuff gaining a lot of popularity. I'm looking forward to that movie, and that seemed like it shared a lot of DNA with that movie.
Yeah, for sure. So like for me, found footage is unique in that the fear is very visceral in a way that other subgenres aren't. So I'm curious, like, why do you like the subgenre?
Um, for me, it boils it down to a more relatable experience. Like Paranormal Activity was scary because everybody has or lives in like a house or some sort, like it's just a very plain place that is very relatable to everyone. It doesn't take an over-the-top monster or over-the-top effects work or anything like that. It's just how simple it is in some ways makes it so much more effective for me. When you see a scary movie and I'm distracted by how beautiful the shot is because they spent hours lighting and got this amazing location that they set up and everything, it's awesome, but it doesn't affect me as much because it's not really relatable at all, I guess.
Mhm.
But when you put it into things that everybody sees and touches every day, to me, it becomes much more effective, I think.
Yeah, I know you filmed. You filmed in the Pine Barrens? So like filming in the woods, what unique challenges did you have, like with the weather or animals?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Well, actually, to be completely honest, so we filmed drone shots in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. I
Okay.
drove down there for a day. We actually found we had a friend, a filmmaking friend, who had a contact, uh, and it was a hunting camp for like, I can't remember. I think it was like one of the heads of the CDC or something. Like it was ridiculous. But they had this massive hunting camp out in the middle of nowhere in Maryland, nice big pine grove in it. Um, and so the challenges weren't quite as bad. I mean, just because of this hunting camp, the gentleman Patrick who helped out and was actually uh, Ranger Bill Carson, the park ranger, as we're filming there, we're like, hey, you know what, Patrick? Any chance you would want to be this park ranger? We had another guy kind of set up, but we were having troubles lining up the that interview. And while we're there, there's this beautiful rustic cabin with this porch, and we're like, man, it would be a crime not to interview the park ranger,
Character
uh,
there.
the character out on this porch. And so, I guess to get back to your point, Patrick, being with with that hunting camp, had like a four-wheeler, so he could help transport all the tents and everything down to the site, and cameras and tripods and gear. And then we had Ian, who was in the film. He was one of the filmmakers helping us. He's not really with Dockside Media, but we needed a third for the purpose of this movie. And he's a great woodsman and outdoorsman. So it's like, oh, Ian, can you help us set these tents up? And I've got like maybe a quarter of one up. He has like the other four all set up and
Yeah.
ready to go. So it was just, it was really a team effort. Um, and so it wasn't terribly bad, Chris. I had a lot of fun out there.
No,
We filmed in November. Uh, all those found footage wood scenes were filmed from November 14th through November 16th. The weather was like mid 50s or something like
fine.
that, maybe 60s. So, dressed up and moving around all day from sunrise to sunset, well into the dark. Um, yeah, it was a great time. It was a fun experience, and we didn't really have too many challenges. We kept batteries charged and all that types of stuff. But um,
The biggest challenge, honestly, was finding a pine grove. We initially were like, we're go film in the Pine Barrens, but that was going to pose many, many challenges. One, just for securing a location where we could run around and scream in the woods. Um, Two, like getting actors out there and it became a huge challenge. And then we started looking around. There was a pine grove near Philadelphia. They wanted thousands of dollars for a few hours of filming, which the movie was made for a couple $1,000s. So we just lucked into this location and it just worked out beautifully and perfectly. We couldn't have had a better place to film the movie.
You mentioned, Chris, so like the natural lighting. I think one thing that makes your film so effective is that the mood and atmosphere is so much more than a lot of found footage movies, to be honest.
That's
Uh,
awesome to hear.
were there
Ah, that
any
warms our hearts.
yeah. Were there any scenes that were harder to get right because maybe, I don't know, the logistics of something? Um, yeah.
So the mood and atmosphere, it's beautiful like that you say that, but when you're making a movie and you're making scary, like when you're making comedy, you can tell when something's funny, even when you watch it a couple times. You're like, that's still funny. But when you're making a horror movie, nothing's scary when you're making it, and then when I'm editing it, it's like, I don't know, is this scary? I feel like maybe it is, but I feel nothing anymore because I've seen it so many times. I mean, some of the challenges we had were just figuring out some of the blocking and stuff like that with the creature. I know the one scene where the creature jumps down from a tree, which the creature was Tyler in that scene, and it was me as the cameraman because we didn't make any of the actors do anything that required running in the woods or any of the dangerous stuff. It was either me or Tyler because we were taking this all on ourselves. So that was kind of a little bit of a challenge getting Tyler to jump on me, but the biggest challenge probably Tyler was that little practical leg break effect, the gore scene, because we literally did that in 5 minutes of in the darkness of the woods with like a cell phone light. Like I'm putting liquid latex on, throwing blood on him, wrapping this thing around. Like, does it look good? Like, yeah, it looks actually way better than I expected it to look. But yeah, those are some of the challenges.
Okay. So you speaking of the creature, like getting the look of the creature right. Um, how did that evolve like through the process of figuring out what to make it look like?
Somewhat. We had a cool mask that we were planning on using, but we also had like cool hand props. And now that we've seen the movie, we probably would have done something different. But the thing that changed from filming to final production and release of the film was the eye effect, the glowing eye thing that
Yeah.
occurs in the movie. That was just something when I was editing, I threw in there because I was like, oh, an eye shine. A lot of elements of the movie originally came from Sasquatch. So you had the knocks and the eye shine and stuff. Those are things that commonly come up with Sasquatch. So there's a lot of DNA with Sasquatch in this movie. And I could talk about how we went from there to there. But that was when I was like, let me like when he flashes the light around him, maybe his eye would shine. But then it just became more of a kind of like a glow effect because every time you see it, it was like, I don't know, it made it otherworldly to me. It made it creepier to me. So that was kind of one of the things that evolved in the creature from beginning to end of the film.
Okay. So like I love how you light and show the creature. It's never too much, which I think is more effective than like showing the creature at all. Um, was that a difficult balance to strike?
I think
Uh,
Chris intentionally, you went in, you prefer those types of scares, saying, ah, I like when the audience, leaves their mind to kind of wander. So it was pretty intentional. I think practically some of the harder things were actually just filming like I think in I guess in all of them maybe I had the creature mask like played the creature, and so man, one, that thing's like 20 or 30, like it's just super heavy, and it's like 55 degrees out, so you put it on and it's like just, yeah, your head's like kind of half frozen. The slits are, I mean, you're looking out of like nose holes or whatever, and so it was, it was kind of challenging at times,
the sea in the
to
dark.
see, to
Yeah.
run, and to, yeah, without giving away, the movie. But if a light's on and the creature appears and the light goes off and the creature's no longer there, it's all practical of me running in the dark with this mask on, trying to get out of frame and then running back and so it was fun. Like it was a good time, and just really proud of kind of like what we pulled off. I mean, um, and some of this stuff B happened. honestly, kind of like after the fact. We had everything filmed, and we're going through watching cut after cut after cut and polishing and trimming. And I mean, Chris, there's at least one, two, three, four. There's like, I think at least four scenes probably that
Yeah,
that
about
aren't
20,
included.
25 minutes of the movie was cut
Like
out. Yeah.
was cut out.
Yeah.
So maybe there's an extended release at some point, if people are really into it, because there's just kind of more maybe backstory on characters, or, and stuff like that. But from a storytelling aspect, as we kept watching it, we're like, man, is this like vital to the story? Does the
Yeah.
audience need to know this? And we just really wanted to do our best, to not have it get real slow. Because me personally, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of like a fast twitch movement person. And so, man, like if a movie gets real slow for me, like I can kind of tune out and zone out, and it's hard for me to be invested and
Yeah.
keep going. So we kind of kept a lot of that stuff
We
in mind, and then had some great ideas after the fact of, just different things. I don't know if Chris wants to talk
Well, I
about
just
them.
we really wanted to get to that found footage stuff. This a movie is a mockumentary, but a lot of, in my experience, a lot of like found footage and like they can have a really slow build up.
Yeah.
We wanted to try and make sure the audience knew we're gonna get into found footage stuff. So that's why the movie kind of plays in sort of like an anthology style mixed with the documentary element. So that like within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you are starting into someone's found footage sequence. Um,
And I
because
will
yeah,
say that my heart nearly burst, when I watched it with my brother, my dad, my son, just various people, and it's like maybe 5, 10 minutes in, and so this is real, right? This is all real, like just because of the way it's
yeah,
set
they
up, I'm
believe.
like, ah, dude, I love it, I love it. I went and made a found footage horror movie. What do you mean? Are you asking me if this is real? So the fact that it just comes off, that genuine as just like one of our other documentaries is yeah, it just means a lot to me and Chris, that it's cool that, yeah, we were able to get the audience invested in something and suspend disbelief.
Yeah. The very real feeling of this movie reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen Horror in the High Desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gives that feeling too. And kind of along with that, I think a found footage film is best between 70 and 90 minutes. Something that's like lean and mean.
Yeah.
It's like you're in it. That is appreciative of as an audience member.
Yeah, yeah. Like we tried very hard to keep the pacing moving, um, which because when you're in talking heads, bouncing between talking heads, like that does feel slow to to an audience. So that's why we tried like bounce between talking heads, between this, between this, between this, trying to keep the movie going while building the lore. So hopefully we accomplished that.
And it's tough too, then, be like for the found footage scenes, there's no backing track, there's no audio, you can't score it,
Yeah.
right? And there were some clever things that we did to maybe introduce audio, and the audience will have to watch to see, oh, is that, music in the background? But for a lot of it, you have to rely on just, the acting and the dialogue and the atmosphere, and hope that you can captivate and keep their attention, without throwing in a bass drop or
Well,
throwing in
yeah,
some
that
little creepy violin thing.
Yeah.
So it's
because
it's
music is like a cheat code. Music in comedy and in horror, it adds so much. Like it makes you feel something even if the visuals aren't. And so when
Yeah.
you have to strip all that away and you're left with whatever you're shown, it does, it's a challenge to make something creepy when you don't have that underlying drone stuff. But Tyler, when I was in post, he had mentioned, what about you hear the trees swaying in the breeze, like the and so we fill that with in most of the found footage stuff, and I think that adds such a level to the atmosphere of the movie, and it's just in the background most of the time, but I think it fills it out so nicely.
There have been several found footage movies that have a score to it, which I think is distracting for me. I
Mm.
would rather have something that's natural, um, like yeah, natural for the characters to
Yeah.
act and experience, rather than having the score that again
Well,
it's like
it,
distracting.
Exactly. I think a lot of the purpose of the genre is to make it feel like it's real. Like
Yeah,
we're watching real footage. And that is also, one of the biggest challenges of the found footage genre is justifying why there are cameras rolling.
yeah.
So that took a lot in my writing, bouncing back with Tyler, like coming up with hopefully clever reasons of why the cameras are rolling most of the time.
And I thought we did, I'll pat ourselves on the back. I thought we did a good job too of introducing reasons for different camera angles or different cameras, right? So it's not just one person with the camera walking forward for 70 minutes or 80 minutes. Could switch maybe to a GoPro camera or there was just different things or there's a second camera that somebody's using or whatever it was. But it was I like that we kind of added that aspect so it didn't get real stale of only having
Yeah.
one kind of camera to go from. And because yeah, be kind of to your point, and I can't remember what found footage movie it was, but somehow it dropped in just kind of like some, back wide shot of the whole camp or house, whatever it was, man. It's like, what? Well, hold on, where'd this shot come from? Nobody's out there with a camera filming that.
Right.
Um, so we tried to stay kind of true to that art form and really just all the found footage that's shown, whether it's from a police GoPro camera and that
Body
was
cam,
cool
yeah.
too. I mean, we lucked out so much and just, the generosity of people that we know and having a police department let us film
Yeah.
interrogation scenes there, letting the police
It is a real
officer
cop.
taking his, one of the unmarked cars out and filming, this scene with us. And it's like, dude, that little stuff, it blows my mind. We didn't have to just film it in somebody's room and kind of set it up. It's like, oh no, when it has like interrogation room or interview room or whatever it is, like the signage and everything inside there and the handcuffs and like
Yeah.
it's like, oh dude, that's all legit. That was filmed in a police station.
I
It was
love that.
crazy.
That's awesome. You mentioned, cutting 25 minutes and, mentioned like maybe an extended cut at some point. Would you ever consider like taking those minutes and using it for something else, like maybe applying those ideas to another project?
I don't know, because they are very in the moment scenes that were cut out specifically because we didn't think they added enough to justify their existence. They add little character moments and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, I already like I wrote a prequel to this film of the lore. Like I wrote a feature version of a prequel to this movie. I don't think any of that would fit for something like that. Um, but I don't know. I mean, watching the movie now, I think it flows well. And when we had those scenes in there, watching it, it felt like they probably should have came out. So I think it was the right call. And I don't want to just arbitrarily like add them back in and like resell the movie just to be like, oh, it's different, and it actively makes the movie a worse viewing experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta
And I
kill
don't
your
know if we
darlings.
can,
That's the filmmaking
and
saying.
for
So
something like this, I don't know if we can necessarily repurpose it. For example, this Stolen by the Stars doc that we just finished editing. Um, I mean, Chris, there's
oh,
hours,
there's 2 hours
hours
that
of
were
stories
left.
that we
Yeah.
couldn't include. And I kept
Yeah.
saying, because for that one, a lot, it was like me driving to these people in Georgia and Tennessee or wherever and sitting down for the interview. And then Chris, I dump all the footage, and my man is a beast and, goes through and edits it and finds a story. And I'll be like, oh, Chris, send me bro, we got to include this story. This is people that are into this. They need to hear that. He's like, okay. Goes back in. We're like, oh, dude, this is better, and we keep finessing that. But it's like, oh, dude, there's so many more crazy stories that we just couldn't include just for time's sake, because that one's already at an hour and 35 minutes. And
Hmm.
it's like, man, most of our docs are 68 to 72-minute range or something like that. But I guess going back to your original question, like for that document, we have plans to like reuse that footage in other docs for the stories that weren't told.
Okay. Well, Chris, you mentioned a prequel. Now, is that something you're going to really push to do?
I don't know. It's a period piece. So if you watch Creature of the Pines, you can probably see where that would because the movie is, through centuries, Creature of the Pines, the lore of it. And so this was a story I wrote. Just it came to me, and so I had to get it out. I don't really think we have intentions of making it right now, just because something like that would require some funding, a decent amount of funding, and that's the big, that's one of the biggest challenges in indie filmmaking is either getting people to watch your movie or getting people to fund your movie. And so maybe someday down the line it'd be really cool to make, but it's not in our immediate plans. We have another mockumentary found footage movie in the I'm writing called Children of the Veil that's more of a cult type thing, and then another more traditional narrative alien abduction kind of movie as well that I'm writing. So one of those will probably be the next dockside projects we start working on.
Now, you mentioned earlier, like while you were filming, not sure if the movie was scary or not. Now, did
Yeah.
you like? I'm always interested, like when filming a found footage movie, do you ever get scared yourself, or like you filming at night, you're in the darkness? There, yeah,
There's if you were left in the woods by yourself and everybody walks away, it's scary. It just is scary. But we've done some ghost hunting documentaries and stuff like that. And I remember we were in an old hotel that was like 5 stories tall, and it was filled with like horror memorabilia. And there's like big clowns and stuff everywhere and dolls everywhere. And I'm like up on the top floor, and, by myself. So yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy. Um, but no, when you're out making a movie with other people, no, it's not scary. It's just a blast, but it's not scary. Yeah.
I would beg to. I mean, when everybody's there, it's fine. But like when we
Yeah.
got to the end of Creature of the Pines, and it was the third and final day. So it was the one with the other three boys, Ray, Lewis, and Jared. Like everybody packed up or whatever, and I was like still down at the campsite, like packing up the tents or whatever. And yeah, B, I'm hearing like a knock, like off in, and I'm like, dude, and I'm like Chris, if you're effing with me, bro, like this isn't cool. And nobody's replying back, and so yeah, I was like getting wigged out a little bit. Um, yeah, after it was all done, you're out there in the dark. Yeah. I like it though. It's a thrill for me. It's
yeah.
fun.
Oh, this,
And it was cool. Like we just had, sometimes it's just maybe fate, uh, the hands of fate directing it. But like when I went down to film the drone scenes in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, I happened to stumble upon this like place that's like had this old fire tower or whatever. And so
yeah,
you'll see like once or I think there's maybe only one or two shots of it, but it worked great. It looks like a park ranger tower more or less. And so like when the park ranger's talking and you can go to that drone shot, it like man, it just makes it like builds that world out, right? And Chris and I, yeah, I don't know. We couldn't have necessarily thought of that any better. It's just one of those things where like in the moment you happen like, dude, this is perfect. This is kismet. I couldn't have, yeah, asked for a better scenario. So we got lucky with a lot of things like that too, that just,
For
in
sure.
the moment we observed it and took advantage of it.
nice. Now, just to kind of wrap up here, I love the woods because it's such a it gives filmmakers a chance to play not only in found footage, but you think of backwoods slashers,
Hmm.
and of course, folk horror with cults,
Hmm.
witches.
Yeah.
I just love like that woods have become such an important part of horror history.
Oh, for sure. What are some of your favorite found footage movies, B?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I watch a lot of found footage movies.
Do you?
Uh,
Okay.
well, I mentioned Horror in the High Desert, which is like a
Yeah.
series now. There's like four
Five
movies.
of them, 4 or 5 of them. Yeah.
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 Um, The Tunnel
Okay.
from
Okay.
2011. I think it's
Yeah.
underrated.
What
Obviously,
about
go
what
ahead.
about As Above, So Below?
Oh yes,
Yeah, that's a great one, isn't it?
that's a good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love like tunnel found
Okay.
footage too.
Yeah.
Is great. Obviously, Paranormal Activity. I saw the second one in the theater. Was
Okay.
like terrified for days after that.
Sure.
So,
That tunnel movie that was shot like in the France in like the catacombs or something, wasn't it? If I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah,
Yeah, that I mean that's terrifying.
yeah, yeah. I mean, gosh, because I just covered Unnamed Footage Festival
Okay,
Okay,
yep.
all
in
right.
San Francisco, so my brain is like found
Is Primal
footage.
Darkness, that's kind of a tunnel one or mining or something like
Yeah,
that?
Primal Darkness is a tunnel one. Yeah, it's very similar. Like I think the setup and stuff is very similar to horror in the high desert,
Okay.
Okay,
but there are some like surprises in that one too.
cool.
So yeah, I could talk about found footage and slashers like all day.
Okay. All right. Slashers. So yeah, I like I don't know. Did you see The Dark and the Wicked
Yes,
from a few years ago? See that movie scared me as well. I
yeah,
know that one
good
sticks out
word.
for some reason. Not found footage, but yeah.
I love
Hey,
like horror that's like centered on something physical happening to someone, like that's very based in reality, but
okay.
then using it as like a vehicle for this horrifying thing. Um, I think of Relic from a few years ago too.
Oh, with the family?
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
family.
that was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah, I could talk horror movies with you all day.
awesome. Well, I actually just wanted to mention because Tyler, like, I'm curious about your experience with horror, like growing up. Like,
Yeah, not a big fan. I'm into like, your action comedy movies. Uh Man, I don't know what it was now at this point, 2020, maybe like 5 years ago or whatever. Chris, we were both just making films kind of independently or doing commercial work and shorts and stuff. And he was like, "Hey, you want to start making documentaries?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he was like, "Oh, what should we do them on? You think paranormal would be fun?" Like, "Yep, yep." So then we just hit the ground running. Um, and so this was another thing where Chris is like, he's really into horror, right? And so he's like, "Hey, do you want to try a found footage horror movie?" Like, yeah, I love it. Like, you don't really watch a lot of, oh, I don't care, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I like storytelling and I like, yeah, I just like stuff that is like engaging and captivates people's attention and makes them like feel something, whether it's, you know, like being scared or afraid, or whether it's laughter or joy or whatever. I just like evoking emotions in people.
yeah,
And yeah, been working with Chris forever and know that, he's a great storyteller and writer and director and all these things. So um it's fun too, where because Chris then probably similar like what you would do. Like before we went and made this movie, he's like, "Hey Tyler, here's a list, of movies that you need to watch beforehand." And Hell House LLC was on there. Blair Witch Project I'd watched back in the day, loved it. Um and I'm trying to think. There was I don't know if it was Man Finds Tape. There was just a number of ones that I went through, and so it was cool. I was like, oh, dude, here's some effective things that I liked from these, and so we tried to make sure to incorporate some of those devices
yeah.
in Creature of the Pines. But yeah, no, I love, yeah. Despite me not like seeking when I put on Netflix or something, I don't seek out a horror movie like ever. Like, oh, I love making this. This is great. I can't wait to do the next one, man. It's a lot of fun. I know there's a big audience for this, and yeah, I love cinematography. I love acting. Like, I just love everything about the filmmaking process. And it would probably drive most people mad, but so Chris, like, he edits all these. But man, I'll watch these things. Like, I don't know. I must have watched Creature of the Pines, I don't know, 30 times or something like that. It was like 12 times over 3 days or whatever, where I'm just like watching it, giving Chris notes.
Jeez.
He's like making fixes, yeah, watching it. And it's just, I love the whole process of, coming to like that final creation yeah, where when you watched it, you're like, man, I felt genuinely creeped out at times. Or, oh, I genuinely enjoyed it. Or, the atmosphere was great. The different things you mentioned. It's cool. It's cool that people who like are really into this and watch thousands of horror movies. It's like, oh, cool. It's nice that B enjoyed that. You know what I mean?
I can't
Because I'm
imagine
sure it's
watching this movie 12 times because I just would never sleep again. Like, it just, no, no way.
last thing to be, and this was thought through, and hopefully if people really get into this movie and watch it those 12 times or even just two or three, I think they'll find there's like a good number of little Easter eggs throughout that are like very subtle, but the more you watch, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy. I can't believe they thought that through and did that for every time this happens. Or, there's just a lot of really neat yeah, like Easter eggs in there that we hope people find uh the more that they view it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Cool. Well, I appreciate both of your time and really diving in here. I can't wait for people to see this. I can't wait for it to be, widely released. Um,
Yeah, we haven't sold it yet. We haven't gotten distribution yet. So that's still in the process. We're waiting to see how it performs at Panic Fest and what the reception is and stuff like that. But just wanted to say, hey, thank you so much for reaching out and allowing us to, be interviewed about our movie and talk about it. It means a lot just to we've worked so long and hard on these things, and it just
yeah.
feels good to just talk to someone about it. So thank you so much.
Right. Of course. Cool.
For
And if
sure.
there's anything else that you'd like want referenced or anything about the film and making it, just let me know.
All right, thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a team effort, and yeah, mad props to the cast and the people that helped us find locations and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Uh, we couldn't have done it without them. And wish us luck. We're waiting to hear back from what is it, Fantastic Fest and Fantasia. So we're
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
hoping,
we'll see.
fingers crossed, we're hoping Creature of the Pines gets into one or both of those.
You